Greetings. I guess this will be our second video. I was planning on doing this sooner than this, but I've been under the weather, so hey, what do you do? But get to it when you can. Anyway, I'm here now. Decided to tell you folks a little bit about me, a little more about me, my early childhood. And we'll work our way up to today. Well, kind of, sort of like that, but grown up years, this one in the next video, and the things that happened then that put me where I'm at now. Anyway, my earliest childhood recollection was when I was about 3. A couple things I remember about 3. One, I remember we lived on Whitney Avenue. I also remember getting a chance to ride a horse for the first time in my life when I was 3. But not by myself. They wouldn't let me ride it by myself. I wanted to ride that horse by myself, but they wouldn't let me. I came to the underbelly of that horse, and I wanted to ride the horse by myself, and they wouldn't let me. I was one fearless 3-year-old. And I don't know how simply or more simple to put that, okay? Anyway, so I vaguely remember family, extended family, that I haven't seen a whole lot or heard from a whole lot since those early years, all right? And I vaguely remember names. I got older siblings that remember them better than I do, but anyway, that's not important, I guess, right now. I remember moving to Sheridan Avenue when we were 4. A number of things happened when we lived on Sheridan Avenue in my life, okay? 4, 5, 6, 7, right in that area. Got interested in a few things, and I was totally fascinated by things, all right? Electricity fascinated me. It says you plug a cord into an outlet, a lamp, turn the switch, light comes on. That fascinated me. I wanted to know how that worked, okay? TVs fascinated me. I wanted to know how they worked. You have this box sitting in the living room, and you got these, what we call rabbit ears, these pieces of metal sticking out the top there, and you get a picture, a motion picture, moving picture, and audio. You got voices, people talking, and dogs barking, whatever, all right? And it comes into the TV from who knows where. I didn't know. I was totally fascinated by that, and was really curious on how it worked. My fascinated with electricity got me to do something I quickly regretted. I took 2 safety pins and stuck them in a wall outlet when I was 5. Got the shock of my life. Let out a nice loud scream. Went downstairs. My mom asked me what happened. Are you okay? And I said, oh, nothing happened. I'm fine, all right. First major lie to my mom. I don't know if she believed all of it. Not worried about it. But, yeah, I think it knocked a few rocks loose. No words for the wear and tear in my life, okay. Interesting note, I have learned how TVs worked, and I've learned about electricity. And it still fascinates me that it works, and all the details and what we've been able to do with both of them, all right. Another thing that I got interested in, about more like 6 and 7, was mechanical things. I had my first little girlfriend when I was 6, 7 years old, and I'll never forget her. I'll never forget sitting in the back seat of her parents' car with her. Uh, and I was more fascinated with a an alarm clock that she had, a travel alarm clock, probably than I was with her. The mechanics of the face of this uh, travel alarm clock was what fascinated me. Uh, there was a cover that went over the face of it that went into the back of it. It slid in like a roller top desk. All right. And that really fascinated the mechanics of that fascinated. Of course, I never knew what the word mechanics was way back when. I mean, 5 or 6, 7 years old. All right, I didn't know what those words meant. Anyways, so those are a few things that happened in my early childhood, my young years of my life, 6, 5, 6, 7. One other thing in those young years, as I made a decision to follow Jesus when I was 6, 7 years old, going to a Catholic parochial school. And if it wasn't for that decision then, I wouldn't be here today. Who knows where I would be at? I have no clue. But I remember I was in school. The teacher, I don't think it was a nun, but I think it was just a teacher. She told us that we trust in Jesus, place our trust in Him. He'll take care of us. It was raining, thunder and lightning. Okay, thunderstorm. That's scary for a kid, all right. And loud claps of thunder, all right. But I made that decision for Jesus, to follow Jesus, then, okay, and learned some uh, Christian songs, kid songs for Jesus. All right, Jesus was a carpenter; he can build a table or a chair. Was one of them, and I loved singing that song when I was young. Okay. Anyway, so I made a decision for Jesus. I got interested in girls. Had my first girlfriend. Interested in mechanics, electricity, electronics. I didn't know what electronics was back then. I just know it was a TV set, okay? Anyway, my my parents' marriage was coming on unravel at the same time, okay? They fought a lot. And around the time I was 8, they separated. And I remember my older brothers and sisters, my young one brother that I had then that I remember that was old enough to know anything, or quote unquote, I wasn't old enough to know anything. My younger brother Tony, which is. Anyway, I remember all of us huddling in the bathroom together praying that our mom and dad would resolve their differences. And it never happened. We did that on Sheridan Avenue. I'll never forget it. It never happened. And the sad thing is, I'm probably better off now because of it. Anyways, when I was 8, a number of things happened when I was 8. Uh, we got an apartment, my mom, brothers and sisters and I, because my folks were separated at this point. And that was on Walnut Street. My interest in girls increased, really increased. And I'd go down to the football field and drool over the cheerleaders when I was 8. Those cheerleaders could have done anything they wanted to me. But they didn't. All I can do is dream, alright. My mom, my brothers and sisters, and I moved to Mississippi when I was 8. We were there for a few months and back up in Ohio by Christmas. I got into comedy a little bit in Mississippi. And it was totally unintentional, alright? Teachers would all constantly ask me, "How do you spell your last name? How do you spell your last name?" I got tired of it. It's right there in front of their nose. It says, "How many times do I have to tell you?" And I got to the place where I got tired of it, so I decided to have a little fun. And my classmates loved it. Okay, they kind of, I guess you could say they laughed at me. Okay, but not a teasing laugh. It was, they liked what I did. Okay, they got a laugh at what I did. All right, so hey, I got something here. What I did was I decided to spell my name really fast so they wouldn't be able to follow it. Okay, and I spelled it Cirdino, and that went over well with my classmates. And did that again, Shawn. Okay, so I did. It was fun. But yes, so that was cool. So I had a little bit. I didn't do it to quote unquote be creative. Okay, I did it because I was tired. How do you spell your name? How do you spell your name? This is. I was 8. Give me a break. All right. Uh, in Mississippi, one of the things I did, something else I did, was collect pop bottles, so we would have food on the table all the time instead of just part of the time. Uh, that's saying a lot for an 8-year-old, all right. Uh, Sometimes it's been difficult for me to go over that, but I guess I'm doing okay now, all right. But, it's just I had it rough when I was 8 and 9 years old, all right. Folks divorced, separated and divorced. Uh, so, anyways, we're back up in Ohio by Christmas, and I remember going sledding with my dad's old sled. The twin runner blades on the sled, I can't remember what they're called, those old sleds. But anyway, I was racing this kid down this hill. He had a brand new sled, and I just barely tap him. He would just flip. Didn't mean to. He took it with a grain of salt. We had fun. That was cool. I have no clue who that kid was right now. Don't even remember his name or anything. So, but it was an enjoyable time. All right. Was living at my grandma's house at that point, uh, and I remember praying alone at night that my folks would get back together. It never happened. It never happened. I'd say the Lord's Prayer 10, 20 times. I'd fall asleep saying it. Okay. They never got back together again. And like I said, the sad part about that for me is I'm probably better off now because of that. Anyway, we want to scoot this along. We're 11 and a half minutes into this, and don't want to be too terribly long. Okay, so anyway, so I started praying alone at night that my folks would get back together. It never happened. So uh, I was also swearing. I took up swearing. I was going to a public school, and this wasn't long after we moved out of our grandma's house. Was in an apartment again, and going to a public school. And a teacher there scolded me for taking the Lord's name in vain. I don't think that would happen today in some cities. I'm not sure, all right? But I didn't realize how wrong that was. I do now, okay? So, but I'll not forget getting scolded. Something else happened that year before I turned 9. In art class, we were given a project to do, and I wanted to draw a picture of a monarch butterfly. I called it a gold-winged butterfly when I was 8 years old. What do you think I want to call it? Monarch? I said, that don't mean anything to me. I called it a gold wing butterfly. So I want it to be the best it could be. One of the things I remember about that picture is I want it to be really good. And so I traced it from the original picture that I was taking it from. I can't remember if I enlarged it or it was the same size. I don't remember. But I remember paying attention to detail on it. That butterfly. I remember I wanted it to be the best that could make it, okay? And something else I remember. I was still working on that butterfly when the rest of my classmates were working on other projects. And not one time did my teacher tell me, "Hey, Shawn, get with the program." She allowed me to finish it. And that stuck in my mind, okay? I remember looking up from working on it one time, and everybody else was doing a different project, and I was still working on that butterfly. And that struck me because kind of odd, okay? At the time, I didn't understand why. I got a better idea now why. Another little issue on that picture. Right after I completed, right recently after we completed that picture, my family moved to the house. I called home for 8 years, learned a lot of things, got drunk for the first time at that house, but we're not there yet. We're still 8 years old in the apartment. But anyway, uh, I never got the picture back. Never got it back. Uh, some years ago, I saw an advertisement. A Guidepost magazine was advertising a book about significant children, extraordinary kids, and there's a little 1-inch square with a picture of a butterfly, monarch butterfly. And a caption below says, "Would you believe this was drawn by an 8-year-old child?" I think it said child. Maybe it said 8-year-old boy. I don't remember. Uh, and I thought about that. I said, I wonder if that was my picture that I drew, because I never got it back. I bugged my mom about that when we moved. I says, "When am I going to get my picture back? When am I going to get the picture back?" And I never got it back. Uh, and I've wondered about that. But anyways, so that was my life between 4 and 8. Uh, Getting interested in girls, mechanical things, the Bible, the Lord, um, electricity, electronics. Got some training in that too, alright. Know how TVs work. And it blows me away that they were even able to figure it out way back when, alright. It's still, it's very, very, very technical on what's required to produce a picture with audio, and then to produce the color on top of it, alright. That's even more technically advanced, alright. Anyway, that's it to take me up to 8. Next time we'll go into my from 9 to probably 14, 16, somewhere in that area. And some significant things that happened in those years of my life that made a difference in my life, a positive impact in my life. Something that happened when I was 14. Well, actually, it happened when I was 10, but I didn't find out about it until I was 14, part of it. And part of it took place before I was ever born. We'll go into more details on that next time. For now, hey, happy trails from Shawn Suriano, the poet.